Welcome to the Canguro English podcast, a podcast about language for people who love languages and learning. I'm your host, Christian, and today I am announcing the return of the Canguro English podcast. Now, if you don't know who I am, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Christian Saunders. I am an English teacher. I teach English as a foreign language. I was born in Australia, but I have lived outside of Australia for most of my life. And at the moment, I'm living in Spain. I've been teaching English for about 16 years, and I also make content on social media, but especially on YouTube, where I have uploaded hundreds of classes and interviews with some of the world's most important linguists and language experts. Now, in this special reboot episode, I'm going to explain why the Canguro English podcast stopped, why it's restarting now. I'm going to explain what you can expect from this podcast in the future. And I'm also going to introduce my new co-host. Now that the podcast is returning, I am not doing it alone. I have invited someone to host the podcast with me. His full name is Matthew Halsdorf, but around here we just call him Teacher Matt. Hello, Matt.
Hello, Christian. Hello, everyone. It's an honor to be here with you for this new chapter of the podcast. I'm excited about what we're going to talk about and how we can help everyone out there who's listening. And I hope we're going to have a lot of fun.
For sure. I'm really excited about this new chapter of the podcast. So, Matt, could you please just introduce yourself for the people who don't know who you are?
Sure. So, as you said, my name's Matt. I come from Southern California. So, if you're interested in my accent, that's where I grew up. We're the same age, Christian. We're both in our mid to late 40s, let's say.
Exactly, we are.
So I've lived about half my life in Europe, which is crazy to say now. About 7 years in Germany, in Bavaria, and then about 15 years in Piemonte, in Italy. That's where I live now. And that's up in the northwest corner of Italy, kind of in the corner near France, near the Alps.
I think we have the same problem when people ask us, so where are you from? It's a very difficult question to answer, right?
That is a difficult question to answer. My wife's Italian, and I've lived in Italy for a long time. So I feel at home in Italy, but I also feel at home in California. But I also feel like I'm not from both of those places as well. It's a strange thing, right, Christian? So my home's somewhere in the Atlantic Ocean, I guess. Yeah.
It's like you're a tourist everywhere. Everywhere you go, you're a tourist.
Right. In Italy, I'll always be the American, but when I'm back in California, I'll always be that guy who's lived in Europe for such a long time. I bet you it's the same when you go back to Australia, right? Do people say things about your accent, for example?
They do. And the main thing they say is, why are you talking like that? Like, why are you talking so slowly and clearly?
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong with you?
I get exactly the same thing. Like people look to the right and left because they feel like I'm recording a video or a newscaster, or why are you over enunciating? Why are you pronouncing every letter like that? Why are you changing your gonna into going to?
Yeah.
So I've been teaching that whole time. I've worked as English as a second language teacher since 2004, full time. For a good portion of that time, I was focused on business English teaching. So I was working inside of companies, helping people communicate with their foreign colleagues. I think it might be funny to introduce how I actually met you. So do you have any memory how we actually met?
Yes, we met because you had volunteered your time, which was amazing, to help with the charity project that Canguro English was doing at that time, which was to build a school in Laos, in the country of Laos in Southeast Asia. And thanks to your help and the help of other volunteers, that school now exists in reality. And there's nearly enough money raised for the second school.
Right. And that was an amazing project and is an amazing project. But let's talk about that another day. Actually, meeting you, Christian, is funny to me now because now we're good friends. I had tried to contact you, I think via Facebook and Instagram. I sent you some direct messages and emails, and you never answered them. And I thought, what a famous, busy YouTuber. This guy, he won't answer my messages. Okay. And then through another connection, through someone I knew, she connected me to you more directly. And yeah, that's how I could volunteer for that charity project.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I first met you, I thought you were a really, really busy YouTuber.
Well, now I guess that must be pretty funny to you because you know that the reality is not that I am, some famous busy YouTuber. It's just that I am terrible at keeping in contact with anybody unless it's absolutely necessary.
Well, yeah, I think you're very busy as well. But yes, yeah, yeah. Anyways, that's how we met each other. I should say, just as a teacher, one of the reasons I wanted to get into contact with you at first was because my students would ask, what's a YouTube channel I could watch, and I would recommend yours. The main reason was because of the philosophy around it. And I think there are lots of English teachers out there in the world who have a similar philosophy, Christian, but on YouTube that wasn't represented so well until you made your channel. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think, and this is something that we have talked about before, is that like all of your experience in the world of like in the practical world of teaching business English, like being in the classroom with students who, they're not studying for an exam and they don't need to, they're not working with classroom materials. They need to actually get things done in the real world. All of the stuff that I was saying on my YouTube channel for you was like, yeah, like this is normal. This is what millions of us English teachers are doing every day. Like none of this is surprising or new.
Right. Well, you communicated it in a really surprising and nice way, Christian. But yes, when you're inside companies working with people to help them communicate, you're not worried about exams. You're not worried about perfect grammar. People are just trying to communicate their message so they can get to the end of their workday or finish their project or, hang up the phone as fast as possible
Yes.
or whatever it might be. And in those cases, you become really practical with language. So yeah, that's true.
Life is full of coincidences and happy accidents and a lot of luck. And I think we were both really lucky that we met each other because we have so many things in common. And outside of work, we're good friends. And we've traveled together to multiple different countries.
While teaching, right? We've taught together, right? And here's an expression for everyone: being in the trenches. The trench is like in the military, and two armies are fighting each other and they dig holes and you're in the trench, right? A protective place. So we've been in the trenches in a lot of crazy situations. Traveling, teaching,
Yes.
yes, taking over each other's courses or classes and things like that. So
Yes.
that's made us get to know each other very well. I think people should know right from the very beginning that though we always want to motivate our students, we're very serious about our jobs. But when we're together, we tend to joke around a lot. So
Yes.
expect that.
Language learning is not always fun, but it should at least be fun sometimes. And it should, always be interesting, I think. Our objective, I think, as teachers is to find that good mix of, serious moments, but also, we're trying to have fun, right?
Exactly. Though we probably tend towards the fun side, just like in our diets, both you and I probably tend toward the pizza side and the chocolate side versus the vegetable side,
Absolutely.
which is probably not good for our waistlines. But yes, that's true. A mix is good. The middle way is good. Another thing I thought I could try to bring to our podcast here is that from time to time, I'd like to step in and ask some questions that maybe our listeners have for you. So I have a question, Christian. Where have you been for the last few years?
Okay, that's a great question. So I started making content on YouTube in like 2014, and the reason that I wanted to do that was because I wanted to be like the best, most correct, most perfect teacher on YouTube. And you'll notice that over time that my content evolved to be something almost completely different, that I wanted to teach people about all of the imperfections of learning and language. Um, but in particular, this podcast. So I started the podcast a few years after that in 2018, and I recorded like 100 episodes. And then the last one was uploaded in July 2021.
Right. And I noticed, Christian, these podcasts, I mean, I think it was similar. You started with some daily digests, teaching English, but then somewhere along the line, you got really interested in linguistics, it seems like. And then you had that whole series where you were speaking to Dan Everett, an amazing guy. Yeah. And then you interviewed a lot of people. So the podcast kind of evolved as you were evolving.
Exactly. I think that the podcast like reflects my journey as a teacher, and it's almost like documenting my learning process. And in fact, when I look at a lot of my old content, I don't have a lot of positive feelings about it, because a lot of the things that I say are just wrong. A lot of the things I've changed my mind about them. But I don't know. I think that it's like anything. You know, as you learn more, as you get older, you do grow. Hopefully, you grow as a person and you change. I mean, I'm sure that if you looked back at yourself, like, I don't know, 10 years ago or 15 years ago, maybe there's a lot of things that you would change about the things that you taught.
Oh, as a teacher, Christian, those first few years were horrible for my students. They might have had fun, but if I think back to it now, wow, I had a lot to learn. And like a lot of teachers, I think I started out like you. I really needed to learn the grammar myself because
Yes.
I actually didn't know it that well. And then I was really pushing grammar rules and that sort of thing.
Yes.
And then I really evolved as time went on. Um, you know, it probably would be bad, Christian, if you looked back at your videos from 2014 and you were exactly the same.
Yes.
So showing growth is a good thing. Probably for our learners as well, if you listen back to yourself, if you had a recording of yourself speaking English from years ago, you might feel really embarrassed about it. You might notice a lot of different things like more mistakes. And noticing those differences can be helpful. It's not easy to listen to, but it can show you something.
Yeah, that is a frustrating part about learning language, is that very often your progress is so slow that sometimes it feels like you're not making any progress, and you can only feel and notice that progress if you look back, not a week ago, but if you look back a year ago or 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's why it's great to actually make recordings of yourself, everyone. Don't listen to them now, but if you have recordings of yourself, it's fun to listen back in the future and see how you've really evolved. It's hard to see it week by week or month by month.
Yeah.
And yeah, well, Christian, you have a record of your teaching style.
I do. And I think towards the end, let's just say that life happened. I got involved in some projects. I had a kid. I have a son, and I think the other thing is that I felt like maybe I had said everything that I wanted to say.
Mhm.
I felt like I wasn't really saying anything new, and it's taken me a long time to feel like there's still more to say. Different things, but there's more to say.
Um, okay, everyone. That's Christian's nice way to say that he's been spending the last few years, on a yacht, um, sailing the world, living it up in Asia with that YouTube cash in his pocket, right? But Christian, you stopped the podcast in July 2021. I mean, I'm sure that was connected to opening up the Canguro Academy because that opened up in autumn 2021. I know because I was there with you at the beginning. It was a little academy and then it was slowly growing and growing. And you were putting all of your energy, all of your creative energy and time into creating a wonderful place for people to learn. So,
Yeah, that's right. Inside the academy, there are literally hundreds of videos and amazing courses and classes that have never been shared to the outside world. And so if you join the academy, you will see where a lot of that effort has gone. But now I feel like it's time to come back and start sharing outside of the academy again, because it does bring me a lot of joy.
and that's going to be a lot of fun. I think that we have created a lot of fun courses and videos in the academy, but of course, not everyone can join that for lots of different reasons, right? And I think that's probably set us up. It's helped us prepare to create an even better podcast.
Yes.
So let's see how this goes, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I hope that there's going to be a lot of interesting info for people who are out there. So, what's coming in this podcast, Christian? What will we be talking about?
Yeah. So in the future from this podcast, you can expect that we will upload one episode per week. And we are planning to have three different types of episodes. So one type is called Word Roots, where we're going to follow the root of a group of different words through time.
Right, Christian. And basically, Word Roots is you leading us through a journey of where different words come from. And you share a lot of stories. These are surprises for me, so I'm reacting, authentically, spontaneously, like I really would. It's basically like you're sitting down with Christian and me around a table, around a fire, and Christian's telling stories. So that's Word Roots.
The second type of episodes are called Kangaroo in the Wild. And in these episodes, which are led by Matt, we are going to be analyzing some piece of authentic English. Matt, can you give an example?
An example is we take a speech, maybe a YouTube video, maybe an interview with a famous person, and we analyze the language from the audio. So Christian and I are going to fight between ourselves and we'll find the top 5 adjectives from that speech or the top 5 phrasal verbs. So we'll be learning language from the real world.
Yes, that's really important. Of course, it's a huge part of the kangaroo philosophy that the students use authentic materials, right? Not kind of fake materials that are created just for the classroom.
Right. That one's all about understanding native English speakers, accents, or the way people speak. So it's a lot about understanding and listening.
And the final episode type is called Ask Kangaroo, where you, the listener, will be able to submit your questions to us and then we will answer them. So you can ask us questions about vocabulary, grammar, about usage, about pronunciation.
Right. Or even about your feelings, even about motivation. You could tell us, I'm feeling really depressed about this thing. Or how can I get unstuck? Okay. How can I get out of this difficult place I'm in? And yeah, Christian, those are going to be very practical episodes, I think, because
Yes.
I'm sure that everyone's questions will be interesting to others. Your questions, everyone, will be interesting to others listening. I'm sure about that.
Yes, absolutely. And in fact, you may hear questions that you didn't even know that you wanted to ask. Right.
So basically, you can ask anything you want. If you have a personal question for Christian as well, feel free to send it in and I'll try to ask him, okay? And we should also say, I mean, this is our plan at the moment, but like any good classroom, things change, right? We will adapt as we go. So if we hear from you that you prefer this type of episode more than another type, we may start doing more of that. We may experiment or explore, but that's our starting plan. Okay.
Yes. So that means that we want your feedback, your questions, and your comments. Now, On the website at kangarooenglish.com, you are going to find transcripts and show notes from every episode. And if you have any questions or comments that you want to send us, you can email us directly at podcast@kangarooenglish.com. I'm really excited about rebooting the Canguro English podcast, and I know that we are going to learn a lot of new things and have a lot of fun together. So I'm looking forward to seeing everybody in class in the first episode. Thank you, Matt, for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks, Christian. Thanks, everyone. And let's get learning. Let's go.
As always, I'm Christian. This is Canguro English, and I'll see you in class.